What if I told you that something you did in your kitchen yesterday could be slowly poisoning you? What if a habit you've done thousands of times is quietly stealing years from your life? Before you think I'm being dramatic, stay with me, because what I'm about to share could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Mitchell, and if you're watching this, you either care deeply about your own health or you're worried about someone you love. Either way, I'm so glad you're here. I'm a geriatrician and registered dietitian, and I've spent the last 15 years of my life working with seniors just like you. I've been in hospital rooms holding hands with worried families. I've celebrated small victories with patients who regained their independence. And I've witnessed heartbreaking health declines that could have been prevented with simple knowledge. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another doctor telling me what I can't do. But this isn't about restrictions. This is about protection. This is about making sure you stay you for as long as possible. What I'm about to tell you might shock you. It certainly shocked me when I first discovered it in my research. But it's backed by solid medical science, and more importantly, it's something I've witnessed firsthand with my own patients. You see, as we age, our bodies change in ways we don't always notice. Your liver doesn't detox as efficiently as it used to. Your immune system isn't as strong, and your brain becomes more vulnerable to inflammation and damage. That's why I feel it's my duty to warn you about hidden dangers that are affecting millions of seniors every single day. Because I've seen the devastating effects of preventable health issues too many times to stay quiet about it. But before we dive in, I want to connect with you. Drop a comment right now and let me know where you're watching from today. And if this information could help someone you care about stay strong and independent longer, smash that like button and subscribe to Elderly Healthcare right now. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. How many times this week have you reheated leftovers? Maybe it was Sunday's spinach soup that you made to last through Wednesday, or yesterday's scrambled eggs that you warmed up for a quick breakfast. Perhaps that delicious roasted chicken from dinner that you turned into today's lunch. We all do it, don't we? It's convenient. It saves money. It prevents food waste. And honestly, it just makes sense when you're living on a budget or cooking for one or two people. But here's what I need you to understand. That seemingly innocent habit, something you do without even thinking about it, could be slowly contributing to your risk of cancer and dementia. Yes, you heard me right. The very foods you think are healthy, the foods your doctor probably told you to eat more of, are secretly becoming toxic when you reheat them. They're transforming from nutrition into poison right there in your microwave. I know that sounds impossible. I know it sounds scary. But stay with me, because understanding this could be the difference between staying healthy and facing a devastating diagnosis years from now. Olivia was an 82-year-old patient I treated just last year, and her story is exactly why I had to make this video. Olivia was one of those women you just admire. Sharp as a tack, lived independently in her own home, took care of her garden, and prided herself on eating healthy, nutritious meals. She wasn't one of those seniors living on processed foods or takeout. No, Olivia was doing everything right. Every Sunday, like clockwork, she'd spend the afternoon cooking. She'd make a big, beautiful batch of spinach and vegetable soup, loaded with nutrients, low in sodium, exactly what every nutrition guide recommends for seniors. She'd portion it out to last the whole week. Every single day, she'd take out a container and reheat a bowl in the microwave for lunch. Olivia thought she was being smart. She thought she was being healthy. And honestly, so did I when I first met her. But over several months, something started changing. Olivia began experiencing digestive issues after her meals. Her stomach would hurt. She'd feel nauseous. Then she started getting sick more often, little infections that her body used to fight off easily. But what really scared her family was when Olivia started getting confused more often. She'd forget conversations. She'd repeat herself. Her daughter was terrified they were seeing the early signs of dementia setting in. When Olivia's daughter brought her to see me, we ran extensive tests. Blood work, cognitive assessments, you name it. But when I sat down and took a detailed history of everything Olivia ate and drank, that's when I discovered something that made my blood run cold. Olivia had been unknowingly poisoning herself with nitrosamines, cancer-causing compounds that form when certain foods like spinach are reheated. She wasn't developing dementia. She wasn't just getting old. She was suffering from chronic, low-level toxin exposure. And the source? That healthy spinach soup she reheated every single day, thinking she was taking care of herself. Now you might be wondering, why is this especially dangerous for people like you and me? Why wasn't this a problem when we were younger? Here's the truth that most doctors don't take the time to explain. As we age, our bodies go through critical changes that make us more vulnerable to these hidden toxins. First, your cellular repair mechanisms slow down dramatically. Think of it like this. When you were in your 30s or 40s, your body was like a brand new car with a powerful engine that could handle rough roads and keep running smoothly. But now, your body is more like a classic car that needs gentler treatment. What might have been completely harmless when you were younger can cause real damage now in your 70s and 80s. Second, and this is crucial, your detoxification systems aren't what they used to be. Your liver and kidneys, which are supposed to filter out toxins from your body, become less efficient over time. It's like having an old coffee filter that's getting clogged. It just can't clean things out the way it used to. So when you consume these toxic compounds from reheated foods, they stay in your system longer and build up over time. Third, your immune system isn't as strong as it once was. You've probably noticed you catch colds more easily now, or it takes longer to recover from illness. This same weakened immune system makes you much more vulnerable to the inflammatory effects of these toxic compounds. Your body simply can't fight back the way it used to. And here's the part that should concern you most. Your brain becomes more susceptible to damage as you age. The protective barriers that kept your brain safe when you were younger start to weaken. This means exposure to free radicals and inflammatory compounds from reheated foods can actually accelerate cognitive decline and significantly increase your risk of dementia. That's exactly what was happening to Olivia. Her aging body couldn't handle what her younger body would have easily processed. And this is happening to millions of seniors right now who have no idea they're slowly poisoning themselves with foods they think are healthy. But here's what gives me hope. Once I explained this to Olivia and showed her how to avoid these toxic compounds, her health turned around completely. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. So let me share the 5 foods you should never reheat, and I'll give you safe alternatives for each. Trust me, you don't have to give up these nutritious foods. You just need to know how to handle them safely. The first food that shocked me when I discovered this research is spinach and other leafy greens like kale, arugula, and chard. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Dr. Mitchell, my doctor told me to eat more spinach for my iron and vitamins. And your doctor was absolutely right. Spinach is incredibly nutritious when you eat it the right way. But here's what happens when you reheat it. And this is going to sound a bit scientific, but I'll make it simple. Spinach naturally contains compounds called nitrates. These are actually good for you when fresh. They help with blood flow and can even lower your blood pressure. But when you reheat spinach, especially in the microwave, these harmless nitrates transform into something completely different, compounds called nitrosamines. And here's the scary part. Nitrosamines are known cancer-causing agents. They're the same toxic compounds found in processed meats that health experts warn us about. Every time you reheat that leftover spinach soup or warm up yesterday's sautéed spinach, you're creating these cancer-causing compounds. Remember Olivia? This is exactly what was happening to her with that healthy soup she reheated every day. But don't panic. You don't have to stop eating spinach. Here's what you should do instead. First, if you have leftover spinach dishes, eat them cold. Add that leftover cooked spinach to a salad or eat it cold as a side dish. It's actually quite delicious this way. Second, when you're cooking with spinach, only prepare what you plan to eat fresh. Instead of making a big batch on Sunday, make smaller portions throughout the week. Yes, it takes a few extra minutes, but those minutes could add years to your life. And third, if you absolutely must store cooked spinach, keep it in the refrigerator and eat it within 24 hours, but still cold, never reheated. This simple change could dramatically reduce your cancer risk and protect your brain from toxic damage. The second food that could be putting you at risk is something most of us eat regularly: eggs. Now, I love eggs. They're an excellent source of protein, especially for seniors who need to maintain muscle mass. But reheating eggs is where things get dangerous. Here's what happens. Eggs contain cholesterol, which is actually fine in its natural state. But when you reheat cooked eggs, whether it's yesterday's scrambled eggs, a hard-boiled egg you're warming up, or that leftover omelet, the heat causes the cholesterol to oxidize. When cholesterol oxidizes, it creates compounds called oxysterols. And these are not your friends. Oxysterols are highly inflammatory compounds that can damage your blood vessels, increase your risk of heart disease. And here's the part that really concerns me for seniors. They can contribute to brain inflammation that accelerates cognitive decline. Think about it this way. You know how an apple turns brown when you leave it out? That's oxidation. The same thing is happening to the cholesterol in your reheated eggs, except instead of just looking brown, it's becoming toxic. For seniors like you, whose cardiovascular systems and brains are already more vulnerable, these oxysterols can be particularly harmful. They create inflammation that your aging body struggles to fight off. So what should you do? First, only cook the eggs you plan to eat fresh. I know it seems wasteful, but your health is worth more than saving a leftover egg. Second, if you do have leftover hard-boiled eggs, eat them cold. Slice them onto a salad, make an egg salad sandwich, or just eat them as a cold snack. They're actually quite satisfying this way. And third, consider meal planning differently. Instead of making a big batch of scrambled eggs for the week, take the extra 2 minutes each morning to crack fresh eggs into the pan. Your brain and your heart will thank you for it. This one simple change could significantly reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease and protect your cognitive function as you age. The third food might surprise you because it's something doctors always recommend for seniors: chicken and other poultry. Now, don't get me wrong. Fresh chicken is an excellent source of lean protein that helps maintain your muscle mass and strength as you age. But reheating chicken is where we run into serious problems. When you reheat chicken, especially multiple times or at high temperatures, the proteins in the meat undergo a chemical change. They form compounds called AGEs, that stands for Advanced Glycation End Products. I know that sounds complicated, but think of it as your chicken literally aging and becoming toxic. These AGEs are like little inflammatory bombs going off in your body. They trigger chronic inflammation that your aging immune system can't handle efficiently. And here's what really concerns me for seniors. This inflammation doesn't just affect your joints or your digestion. It goes straight to your brain. Research shows that AGEs can contribute to the kind of brain inflammation that accelerates memory loss and increases your risk of dementia. For someone in their 70s or 80s, whose brain is already more vulnerable, this is particularly dangerous. I've seen patients who were regularly reheating chicken throughout the week experience more joint pain, more digestive issues, and yes, more cognitive problems. They thought they were eating healthy, but they were actually creating inflammation throughout their bodies. So here's what I want you to do instead. When you cook chicken, only prepare what you plan to eat fresh that day. If you do have leftovers, eat them cold. Make a delicious chicken salad sandwich. Add cold sliced chicken to your salad, or enjoy it as a cold protein snack. If you absolutely must reheat chicken, do it very gently. Low temperature, just once, and only until it's barely warm. Never reheat the same chicken multiple times. And here's a tip that many of my patients love. When you're meal planning, cook smaller portions of chicken more frequently rather than making one big batch for the week. It takes just a few extra minutes, but it could save you from years of chronic inflammation and cognitive decline. The fourth food that's secretly dangerous when reheated is something you might not even think of as food: your cooking oils. And this one is particularly sneaky because most people have no idea they're doing anything wrong. Here's what happens. When you heat cooking oil once, it's generally fine. But when you reheat that same oil, maybe you used it to fry something yesterday and you're using it again today, or you're reheating food that's sitting in oil, that oil becomes toxic. Reheated oils create compounds called acrylamides, which are classified by health experts as probable cancer-causing agents. But that's not all. The reheating process also generates massive amounts of free radicals. These are unstable molecules that attack your healthy cells and cause damage throughout your body. For seniors, This is especially dangerous because your body's natural defense systems against free radicals weaken as you age. When you were younger, your body could neutralize these harmful compounds. But now, they accumulate and cause inflammation that can affect everything from your heart to your brain. I've had patients who were unknowingly consuming reheated oils regularly, and they experienced more fatigue, more joint pain, and concerning changes in their memory and thinking. They had no idea that something as simple as reusing cooking oil was contributing to their health problems. The solution is actually very simple, but it requires changing a habit that many seniors have developed to save money. Never reuse cooking oil. I know it feels wasteful, especially when you're on a fixed income, but your health is worth the extra cost. Use fresh oil every single time you cook. And when you're reheating food, if it's sitting in oil or has been cooked in oil, either eat it cold or reheat it very gently without adding more oil. Also, avoid restaurants that you suspect might be reusing oil for frying. Your local diner might be convenient and affordable, but if they're reusing oil, you're exposing yourself to these toxic compounds every time you eat there. This simple change, using fresh oil every time, could significantly reduce your cancer risk and protect your body from the kind of cellular damage that accelerates aging. The fifth and final food that can become dangerous when reheated is something that might really surprise you. Root vegetables like beets, carrots, turnips, and parsnips. Now, I know these are vegetables your grandmother probably told you were good for you, and she was right when eaten properly. But here's the problem. Just like spinach, these root vegetables are naturally high in nitrates. And just like with spinach, when you reheat these vegetables, those harmless nitrates transform into those same cancer-causing nitrosamines I told you about earlier. The reason root vegetables are particularly concerning is that many seniors love to make big batches of roasted vegetables on Sunday to eat throughout the week. You roast a beautiful pan of carrots and beets, store them in the refrigerator, and reheat portions each day. It seems so healthy, so smart, so economical. But every time you reheat those vegetables, you're creating more and more of these toxic compounds. And because root vegetables tend to have even higher concentrations of nitrates than leafy greens, the amount of nitrosamines you're creating can be even more dangerous. I had one patient who was religiously eating reheated roasted beets every day because she'd read they were good for her blood pressure. She was doing everything she thought was right for her health, but she was actually increasing her cancer risk with every meal. So what should you do instead? First, when you're cooking root vegetables, only roast what you plan to eat fresh that day. Yes, it means more frequent cooking, but it also means better health. Second, if you do have leftover cooked root vegetables, eat them cold. Slice cold roasted beets onto your salad, add cold carrots to a sandwich, or just enjoy them as a cold side dish. Many of my patients discover they actually prefer the taste this way. And third, consider changing how you meal prep. Instead of roasting a week's worth of vegetables at once, roast smaller portions 2 or 3 times a week. It only takes an extra 15 minutes, but it could save you from years of toxic exposure. The key is to think fresh when it comes to these nutritious root vegetables. Your body will get all the benefits without any of the risks. Now, I know this might feel overwhelming. You're probably sitting there thinking, Dr. Mitchell, I've been doing this for decades. My mother did this, my grandmother did this. How can something I've done my whole life suddenly be dangerous? And I completely understand. Changing lifelong habits isn't easy, especially when you're already dealing with other health challenges, medications to remember, doctor appointments to keep track of, and all the other complexities that come with getting older. You might be feeling frustrated, thinking about all the food you've wasted by throwing away leftovers, or worried about the extra time and money this will require. Those feelings are completely valid. But here's what I want you to remember, and this is the most important thing I'll say in this entire video. Every small change you make today is an investment in your tomorrow. It's an investment in staying in your own home longer. It's an investment in remaining independent. It's an investment in being present and sharp for your grandchildren. Remember Olivia, the patient I told you about at the beginning? The one who was unknowingly poisoning herself with that reheated spinach soup? Once I explained this to her, and she stopped reheating those foods, everything changed. Her digestive issues disappeared within weeks. Her energy came back. Her mind cleared up. And most importantly, her family stopped worrying about losing her to dementia. Olivia told me something that brings tears to my eyes every time I think about it. She said, "Dr. Mitchell, you gave me back my future." She's now 84, still living independently, still sharp as ever, and she credits these simple changes with transforming her health. You have that same power. Right now, today, you can make the choice to protect your brain, reduce your cancer risk, and maintain your independence longer. You can choose to be present and vibrant for your family for years to come. This isn't about perfection. It's not about turning your entire life upside down. It's about making small, manageable changes that add up to something enormous. More healthy years with the people you love. That's what matters most. Not the convenience of reheating leftovers, but the precious gift of your health and your time with family. If this information has opened your eyes like it did for Olivia and hundreds of my other patients, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that like button below this video. It helps more people like you discover this life-saving information. And also don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Healthcare if you haven't already. But here's the most important thing I want you to do. Share this video with anyone you care about. Send it to your spouse, your children, your friends, your neighbors. Text it to your sister, who always meal preps on Sundays. Email it to your friend who's been having those mysterious digestive issues. This information could literally save their lives. And I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me which of these 5 foods surprised you the most. Was it the spinach? The eggs? Maybe the cooking oil? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from our community. Your stories help me understand what other health topics I need to address. If you have questions about any of these foods or want to share your own experience, please comment below. Before I go, I want you to remember something. It's never too late to make changes that protect your health. I don't care if you're 65 or 95, your body can still heal, your brain can still be protected, and your future can still be bright. You don't have to give up delicious, nutritious foods. You just need to prepare them safely. These aren't restrictions, they're protections. Your golden years should be your healthiest, happiest years. You've earned the right to feel good, think clearly, and live independently. By making these simple adjustments to how you handle leftovers, you're taking control of your health and fighting back against preventable diseases. You're choosing to be proactive instead of reactive. You're choosing prevention over treatment. And that choice could give you years of vitality that you might have otherwise lost. So start today. Start with just one change. Maybe it's eating that leftover spinach cold instead of reheating it. Maybe it's using fresh oil when you cook. Small steps lead to big transformations. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. And the people who love you need you to be healthy and strong. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.